The Houston Rockets have... Hang on. Nope. Gotta do this right. The Houston Rockets have extended Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green to rookie extensions. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Summit State of Mind, presented to you by the Apollo Podcast Network and powered by Big City Wings. In this edition and in this episode, Alperen Sengun, Jalen Green have officially extended with the Houston Rockets. GM, basketball season is so damn back. How are we feeling? What is the temperature in the room? Is it are we percolating? Like, what is it? What's happening?
The temperature in the room is feeling a little bit warm.
Do that while I hold this.
A little bit warm, considering that Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green have both signed extensions to stay with the Houston Rockets after this season. They're both avoiding restricted free agency. They both signed pretty fairly big deals, and I would say fair deals for both. Let's start with the deal that started it all first. Jalen Green agreed to a 3-year, $106 million deal, which is unprecedented. It's the first 2+1 deal that a rookie has negotiated amongst any team. He was an innovator by the first guy to go to the G League Ignite, and he is an innovator with his contract. I believe it's a fair deal, but we'll dig into that later. Alperen Sengun, the deal that everyone was talking about in preseason, has agreed to a 5-year deal worth $185 million with a player option in the final year. The first guy since Luka Doncic and Trae Young. So Alperen Sengun getting his due. So, I'm excited. I'm happy. It shows that these guys will go into the season with a clear head, a clear mind. They don't have to worry about the money. If anything were to happen to them, they're good. They got deals. And I'm extremely happy for both guys. They both, it's well-deserved for both, to me. And I know that, Kenny, you might feel a certain type of way.
Yes. No. Bottom line is that we're just very, very happy that these deals got done. It's a very big day for the Rockets organization in terms of moving into that next phase. The phase 2 essentially becomes official now because of the fact that the first 2 players, the pillars of the team that basically at the start of the rebuild on the first year that we did tank and go for the draft picks, they have officially re-signed. So now that they have re-signed back with the Houston Rockets for 3 and 5-year deals, 5-year deals respectively. Yeah. Now we can really move forward without the pressure of what's going to happen. You don't want that cloud kind of hanging over. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I can say towards this that could have maybe been beneficial towards maybe waiting was that it was going to be a prove it year. So I kind of wanted to see Alp and Jalen, and I've said this before on the pod, to go kind of guns a-blazing, you know what, let me prove to y'all that I am a max talent. But bottom line, the AAV stands as it calls, and it's a great contract. It's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Alperen Sengun, Jalen Green are officially extended with the Houston Rockets. Officially got it done before the 6 p.m. Eastern deadline. Build the statue. It's going down. Build the statues. It's going down. Close out Polk Street. The parade is happening. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but it's going to happen in the next several years. Yeah. And we're all here for it. This is purely reactionary, guys. We weren't even going to plan on recording tonight. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is we had to get here in studio, have to talk about it, because like we said, the pillars of the Houston Rockets that kick-started the rebuild by acquiring these 2 players in the 2021 draft have officially been re-signed. Jim, let's talk about Jalen Green first and foremost. Jalen Green was the first player that we locked in a deal with. 3 years, first 2 years guaranteed, 3rd-year player option, $106 million, averages out to about a 30, not 32, maybe a 36 million. I
believe it's
close to 36, right?
Maybe 36.
Yeah, can you do math? 30, do math. It's I'm about 35 and a half. 35.5.
Yes.
I know math. 35.5.
Puts him at 35.5 carry the one. So it's about $35 million a year.
It's about $35 million a year.
On average.
Overall thoughts on the fact that Jalen Green, who people are happy for the most part, but there are the detractors that feel like maybe he didn't deserve it. So how are we feeling right now in regards to the contract that he has, the contract that he get, and did you believe he deserved it?
I do believe he deserved it. I mean, granted, he did have like the best 1 month a player could have in terms of his March last year. But I do believe that he proved himself to a point that his value was up there. Was it not worth a full max extension? I wouldn't say so. But he deserves the money. And I believe that with that deal, considering that it is a 2-year extension plus a player option, which seems to be highly unlikely that he will accept it, barring him like really flop on this contract, which I don't believe will happen. I believe he will definitely opt out after those 2 years, the extension. I'm just really happy that he's back. I do believe it shows a lot of faith by Rafael Stone and the Houston Rockets, considering that he hasn't been the most consistent player. And for Jalen, at the age of 22, that he's willing to accept that deal. Because what happens is this. He becomes an unrestricted free agent at the age of 25 if he opts out after his player option. At the age of 25, he wouldn't even be in his prime yet. So he'd basically put himself in prime position to be an unrestricted free agent and start a bidding war if that's the tunnel that he chooses. I mean, there's so many different ways that this contract can play out. Jalen Green will play very well. I believe in it. And I think that his preseason showed that the Rockets do have a belief in him as well, and that they were ready to, pull the trigger on that deal for Jalen. I mean, shout out to Jalen, and then even like his baby mama, Dre Michelle, posting it out
Oh
there
yeah,
on
shout
Instagram
out,
as
shout
well.
out. You know what?
Putting out the medal that he's the one.
You even said it earlier too when you said, when you mentioned Rafael Stone. You know what? Build the statue for Rafael Stone.
Man.
The dude got it done, and he got it done. Both of these deals, AAV wise, are cheaper than Cade Cunningham.
Yep.
Cheaper than Evan Mobley.
Yep.
Cheaper than all the other draft picks that were, the number 1 pick, which is significantly higher. The number 3 overall pick in Evan Mobley, significantly higher.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you got LP and Jalen, who you can argue overall, maybe not totality of the impact of the team, because, obviously Evan Mobley made the playoffs. Cade Cunningham is like the main guy in Detroit. But you can argue that these were like steals of deals, and I truly believe it. If you're going to spin the wheel here on a deal for these guys, and you can get them to agree to it, this was absolutely the way to do it. Dude, build the statue for Rafael Stone, man.
Shout out
He
to
earned
Stone.
it. I mean, he earned it. This was a great freaking deal for the organization, for the team, because if even let's say worst case scenario, Jalen just does not work out. It's a very tradable contract.
Exactly. I think
very
there's so much
friendly
flexibility
It's
in terms
so
of that.
friendly. I'm feeling so good. GM, shouts to the Wrestle Era podcast coming soon. Can I get a little Manawia one time?
Manawia.
We got to do that
Let's
one time.
go.
That's a cheers in Samoan. I'm allowed to say that.
We've been given approval.
I've been given approval.
You've been given approval.
I'm an Uso.
Yeah.
So, it's a great time right now for the Houston fan base, knowing
Absolutely.
that 48 hours out from the start of the season, which we'll get into in our 2 topics from now, because our next topic, we talked about Jalen Green. Let's roll around to one Alperen Sengun, who I believe has earned every penny of that freaking contract.
Yeah,
185 million, 5 years, 4 years, 5th year team. I mean, for 5th year player option, if I
Yeah.
recall.
Uh-huh.
5th year player option. I was going to look at my brother to fact check me, the GM. Overall thoughts of this deal. Do you think that Alperen Sengun deserved every penny of that contract? Because I believe he did.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he played like the best player on the team last year. And he was nearly an all-star. He played at an all-star level that was not an all-star. And 5 years, 185, that's a discount. The max deal he could have received was 5 years, 225. He took an $8 million yearly annual discount to stay in Houston. I think that's very friendly of him and his agent. I believe that's very fair considering where we're going. And I think that shows a lot about what Alperen Sengun wants moving forward for this team, because he doesn't want to max out and completely space this the salary cap on behalf of him. It shows a lot. This is life-changing money as well. So I get it. The man wants to get paid. He wants to give generational wealth to his family. Goes both ways. And shout out to LP for that, man. But I think it was a big deal that he took $40 million dollars less than what he could have gotten like if you waited.
He's committed. He's committed to
He's
the
committed.
city.
And,
you
you
can
know-
kind of tell we were trending in that direction anyways because of the
Yeah.
fact that he spoke about it so candidly, so confidently about
Yes.
saying, I believe a deal can get done.
Absolutely.
Well, along with the Jonathan Fagan reports that happened a couple weeks prior,
Yeah.
we got on this show about maybe like an episode or two ago,
Yeah.
2 episodes ago. We felt like this deal could get done.
Absolutely.
And this was kind of like the no out of the two. I'm not downplaying Jalen's contract by any way, but Alpi, in my opinion, was the more no-brainer deal. Like, if he's willing to stay and he's willing to stay for a friendly contract that works well for both talents, from a psychological standpoint, the fact that, and to reiterate what you're saying, Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green, Alpi in particular, being that type of talent, being that young, knowing that this team had not made the playoffs, so you're going to, individual accolades, that's normal when you're a young player.
Yes.
But the fact that he took less money to give the Rockets a chance to compete this year and to sign players in the future, to not not back up their 2025 free agency, like it keeps the door open to getting a deal done. So to getting deals done in the future, like it does not hamper it. I'm sorry, guys. As much flack as maybe LP or Jalen get about individual accolades, which they've, they're going to be doing that the first several years of their careers, and that's every player. But the fact that they chose to do that shows their team first mindset, that the culture truly has shifted amongst the team, that they're like, that these young players are not only just doing this, but setting a precedent for the other players, for Jabari next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For these players in the following years, Amen the year after.
In a way to not be selfish.
To not be selfish. Like, hey, sign this contract.
Yeah.
Get your money now, but also you're still playing for your long term because you can still make more money. The Rockets did this for LP because by the time his contract up, he's 27. He hadn't even hit his peak. Maybe like 26, 27 by the time he gets there. By the end of his deal, he hadn't even hit his peak yet.
Yeah.
Jalen would be 25 by the time he finishes his deal. So, it gives them a chance to make a good amount of money now.
Yeah.
And to give them an opportunity to play for bigger money in the future. And at the same time, the two players betting on themselves. Dude, you got to respect that shit,
I love it.
I feel so good about this. I'm so happy.
Hey, I mean, we should all be happy considering our future. But I will say this. Before the LP deal was made, the Jalen deal definitely helped our cap space if LP didn't resign, considering the cap hold that LP was at 16, while Jalen Green's cap hold was higher than the actual deal that he did take. He did save us money in terms of salary cap, quote unquote, if we did not resign LP. Now that we did resign LP, I believe now that we're likely going to operate above the salary cap going into the offseason next year, which probably means that Fred VanVleet will probably their team option for him will likely not be taken, and they're probably going to try to sign him to a cheaper deal, to a longer term deal with lower annual value to help with the long-term process. The Dylan Brooks thing, I don't know. I don't really care. But Fred VanVleet...
I mean, they can deal him. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Like, if they need to, if there's going to be another player that's going to come in...
When I say I don't care, I mean saying that I don't care to keep him, if that makes sense.
You see how he had to choose his
I had to
words
choose
carefully?
Words wisely. But I mean, I think that...
In front of a camera.
Absolutely.
A couple thousand listeners per episode, so you're going to have to really be careful.
Fair. I do think that this, moving forward, will show that the Rockets will operate a certain way. We're not going to make any huge splashes in terms of star power through free agency, but if we do show a lot this season and potentially make a playoff run, there will be players who will be willing to sign for the mid-level exception, sign for the minimum, to play with these guys. So I think that a lot rides on it, but at the same time, there will be moves to be made after the year, but I do like where we are headed salary cap-wise. I think that this is the right move overall for the team. Shout out to Raphael Stone again for just making great deals with these guys and giving them peace of mind moving forward into the year.
And I think that's very important to have that peace of mind moving forward. And if there's any doubt in anyone's minds that they're not committed to the core, I think these two signings right before the season, literally right at the buzzer, right at the Alperi contract offer happened right at the buzzer, shows the commitment to the core. Shows like, hey, if y'all perform, we're gonna pay you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's the commitments now.
Can you imagine
that's why I'm
the
shocked.
motivation for the guys like Jabari, Tari, Amen moving forward, considering these
exactly.
deals?
So you get it. So the bigger
Yeah.
picture is not Alperen and Jalen. It's to re-sign Jabari. You get it. You know ball. See, he gets it. He knows the whole bigger picture is to make sure Jabari, the glue guy, gets re-signed, because next year he's eligible, and I need my boy to get re-signed.
Yeah,
so
Kenny wants Jabari to stay in Houston.
I am who I am, and
It
I'm
is
never
what it
going to
is.
change. Guys, drop it in the comments right now. Let us know how you feel about Jalen and Alperen Sengun re-signing with the Houston Rockets, extending for a contract for years into the future. So this is basically a big moment for the city of Houston. Chance to make the playoffs here. So what are your thoughts? Drop a comment right now in the comments, because GM, you know how I feel about comments. Comments move the needle. Comments.
It keeps us in the algorithm.
I love algorithm.
We need it, guys.
I love saying
We absolutely
algorithm.
need it.
I love algo.
Yes.
I love saying the algo because I love my algorithm. So if you
He
like,
loves the algorithm.
I do love algorithm.
I'll go away if you guys don't like me. It's fine.
It's okay. You can algorithm, algo ride, get on up. It's bobsled time. So you can comment, like, subscribe. He liked that. Comment, like, subscribe, because what
Not
happens
selling
is
for that.
on Apollo HOU. Come on now.
Yeah.
Don't give me that. Apollo HOU, because every time you like, you comment, you subscribe
Yeah.
to our show, this show specifically on the Summit, it keeps us on the feed so more viewers can watch and listen to what we have to say in terms of Houston Rockets content, because I stand by this. I love all the other pods out there, but if you want to have fun and get good information, you know the show to go to.
We are always here for you guys. You know, we might not be
I'm not a therapist. I'm not here to be their therapist.
Exactly. We're not.
I'm just here to have fun.
We are the fun podcast.
Yeah, I'm just here to
And
enjoy.
We know who we are. We are the boys from Mo City.
I'm just
who
not.
just got a
I'm-
love for the Houston Rockets.
I'm just not the type of guy that's going to be on radio and give you all the info. That's just not who I am. I'll give you info.
We'll give you
but
the
I'll make it
info.
fun.
Yeah.
I'll make it fun. So
We like to
guys,
change it up a little
yeah,
bit.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Just
So
give
like,
it to you in a different way.
exactly. So like, comment, subscribe on this episode and all of our past episodes and future episodes as well.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and move on, GM. Obviously, with Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green extended and the Houston Rockets core locked in now for the foreseeable future, we're going into the season. Season starts in 2 days.
Ooh, man, I'm ready. I'm
we didn't
so
get a chance.
excited.
We didn't get a chance to do this. So now here we go. 2 days away. We have two things. Let's do our last minute predictions.
Always.
For the season. Last chance.
Season
Here
or
we
the
go.
game?
No, let's do season first. Let's see if it's changed.
We already did.
I know. Are you staying steady?
I'm staying
You're-
steady.
So
I'm
you're
not
not changing.
changing.
Okay,
I
well, tell
am
the people who
not
haven't viewed.
changing.
Welcome to our first time
For those
listeners.
that haven't viewed,
Yeah, just
about
just
2 or
say
3
it.
episodes ago,
Yeah.
I made a prediction.
I don't need a whole story. Just say it.
51-31. That's the record the Houston Rockets will have. We're gonna have a well improved Jalen Green. We're gonna have an all-star Alperen Sengun. We might have two all-stars on this team if this team moving forward plays as well as I believe they will.
I got 48 and 34.
Yeah, you do.
I took the lesser of the deal because
Smart, because
I
he
just-
always takes the over.
I took the over and we failed miserably the last. Well, 41-41 was fantastic last year, but I've always taken the over and I've always fallen short. So my math last time was
The math
if I
ain't
take the
mathin'.
under, we'll go over. So hey, come on, reverse jinx.
Yeah.
So that's our prediction. GM, our first prediction of game predictions. Here we go. We're so
Whew,
back.
man.
Season opener. I will be in attendance. So if you guys go and you do see me, I will not be with the GM. I will be by myself. I know it's like seeing myself without my twin. I promise I'm my own person.
Yeah, I mean he'll
So,
be
yeah,
there.
I will be
Say
there.
what's up?
Come say what's up. Talk to me. Tell me how much you want Jabari Smith to get re-signed. It's going to be fantastic. Let's go ahead and talk about it right now, GM. Our first game prediction for Rockets Hornets at home. Game 1 out of 82. It's happening right now. Give me a score prediction and give me 3 key factors that the
Ooh.
Rockets need to win the game.
Oh man, okay.
Well, go with the score first. I'll give you time to think.
The score?
Yeah.
The score will be 114-107. The Houston Rockets take a dub from the Charlotte Hornets on game 1 of 82 of the regular season. What I'm going to say is this. My 3 keys to the game would be star power for one. Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green. They must perform. They signed the contracts. They signed the contracts for a reason. Star power. That's what they're here for. They are signed, sealed, and delivered. Now's your time to show up and perform. I mean, I'm not saying that there's pressure on that, but going into game one, after the announcement of the contracts, I think that it's fair that Rockets fans have a certain expectation for our boys to show up and show out. Number 2, transition defense. That's the one issue we did have last year. I know that we did pretty well for the first half of the year. The second half of the year, not so much. I don't believe that Charlotte is a quick team, but that with that weakness, I want the Rockets to improve on that in terms of our defense. Number 3, rebounding. Steven Adams led the Houston Rockets in terms of percentage of rebounds, in terms of all overall possessions for the Houston Rockets. So I think that his contributions on the boards, defensively and offensively, plus the screens, will go a long way for our bench brigade. And I believe that with him on the floor, with or without even LP, will be huge in terms of whether we can extend a lead or, come back from a deficit. I think his time on the floor will be extremely important. So those are my 3 key factors.
Very nice, very nice.
Kamish?
Yes, so
I would love to know what your predictions are and your factors.
Okay, so I got the Rockets winning 117-102, opening it up with a blowout. I think they're I'll tell you how we get there. I'll tell you how we get there. So key number 1, set the culture. That means that this team is different. They're a year older. There's year 2 of Ime's system.
Yeah.
Set the culture. That means whatever that is. Start. It's hard nose play. Do what got you there. Playing hard, playing fast, playing strong. Like that's you're in year 2 of that. So go ahead and set that precedent. Like set that culture from the tip, from game 1. Point number 2, defense. Obviously, key. I'm such a big fan of defense, and obviously, if you want to hold them to around 100 and hover them around 100, you have to play good defense. And I think the acquisition of a Reed Shepherd and a Steven Adams helps get you there on the defensive column. Key number 3, speaking of Reed Shepherd and Steven Adams, the bench brigade. We need to get that is so key. Getting Amen Thompson off the bench, Reed Shepherd, Steven Adams, Cam Whitmore, Tari Eason, that is a starting lineup in other teams. So
Definitely.
The fact that they are so impactful and you saw their impact in the preseason, I fully expect the starters, I fully expect them to do the thing. Alperen and Jalen locked in, they'll do what they need to do. The bench is so key because the bench has what was to a degree a weakness last year. They had some strengths here and there with Cam Whitmore, but some inconsistencies. Amen was a little inconsistent until he got the starting nod. But bench, very, very key. Very, very key. So if they want to win on the blowout, like I said, follow those 3 keys. They will get there. They'll get there soundly. I think they win decisively, and I think they put the league on notice with a 1-0 start. First game number 1 win of the season, I think, since the Harden era. I don't think they've won game 1. They have not won a game 1 in this new era. So every game that they've played, they've lost. So you want to set your precedent for yourselves, for the city, for the team, for the entire Western Conference, for the entire NBA. Start game 1 fast, win decisively.
Yeah.
So that is what I fully expect. And then, guys, we'll end on a happy note because that's exactly what's going to happen. So drop your score predictions as well. Comment right now. Let us know. We'd love to see it. What are the score predictions? Tell me why the Houston Rockets are going to win game 1 against the Charlotte Hornets. Tell me why Jabari Smith is going to score 30 and absolutely be the guy that no one expects to show up. I'm totally kidding. Let's get ready to end this episode. Guys, I just wanted to get on here for a reaction episode, get my brother in here so we can finally talk about it.
Yeah,
big
we're
news.
excited to be here.
What a big day for the city of Houston.
Absolutely.
So great. To be back, to be here, to be getting ready and gearing up for the Rockets season. GM, give the people what they want one time.
Absolutely. Make sure to follow me on socials at JP_Mirabueno. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at SummitStateOfMind_POD. On Twitter at Summit SOMPOD. I believe that's the same as TikTok as well, correct? Even though we haven't posted much on there. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But make sure to follow us on socials at Apollo NBA and at Apollo HOU. And always make sure to like, comment, and subscribe over onto our YouTube at Apollo HOU. Put on that notifications button so you can find out when every new Summit State of Mind podcast is released.
That's right.
Boom.
Nice. Well, very well done. Considering that you've been off, you've been taking your off days.
There you go.
So he's been on his PTO. So you can also follow me on Twitter at Summit Commish. Thank you guys very much once again for listening to us on this very special episode. I do want to give one shout out to our brand new podcast that will be releasing very, very soon to all wrestling fans. If you made it all the way to the end of this episode, congrats to you. You got to your favorite part. We are proud to announce the Wrestle Era podcast. Very, very exciting things to come. A lot of stuff in store we have planned. Very excited to bring it on the Apollo podcast platform for all the listeners, watchers,
Absolutely.
fans of wrestling, being able to get y'all in here. We're not just Rockets fans, we're wrestling fans as well. So we're being able to kind of be able to do both. It's almost a dream come true in a way. So, be sure to be on the lookout for that. Once again, the Wrestle Era podcast coming soon to a platform near you. Let's get ready to end this episode. Once again, guys, Rocket season is back. So excited. Thank you so much for making us your first listen for all Houston Rockets content. That's the end of this episode. I think this is episode 230 officially in the books. 230 in the books, baby.
Wow.
230 here, 2:30 to go. Let's get ready, baby. So Houston Rockets are
happen.
back. Let's end this episode as I end every episode with a Go Summit, Go Paulo, and Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun are officially Rockets, and they are extended.
No, we do. We know we do that, Ken.
Huh.
We acknowledge them.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Go Rockets. Do the thing. Yeet. Yeet. Yeet.
Yeet.
Go Rockets.